Lewis Hamilton sets a new media record in Bahrain with a 56.8-second fast lap. Stay until the end, and I'll break down the technical aspects of the car that enabled Hamilton to adapt so quickly. Subscribe only if you want Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship and be crowned as the greatest driver in history. If you had any lingering doubts about Lewis Hamilton's ability to acclimate to his new team Ferrari, you might need to reconsider your perspective entirely. The 7-time Formula One world champion has wasted no time in embedding himself within the legendary Italian outfit, and the transition appears to be unfolding at an astonishing pace. While many speculated that shifting from Mercedes, a team he knew inside and out, where every nuance of the car, every data point, and every aspect of the engineering philosophy was deeply ingrained in his muscle memory, would present significant challenges, early indications suggest that he has adapted far more seamlessly than anyone could have predicted. The first tangible sign of this came at Fiorano, Ferrari's private test circuit, where Hamilton got his first real taste of the SF25. Although this was not an official test under FIA regulations, the opportunity to get behind the wheel in a controlled environment, familiarize himself with Ferrari's cockpit ergonomics, and begin forming a direct connection with the car's handling characteristics was invaluable. Observers noted that from the moment he stepped into the machine, Hamilton exuded a level of confidence that suggested he was not merely getting accustomed to a new car, but actively working to understand its deepest intricacies. This is not just a case of a driver switching teams. This is a precision-driven athlete at the peak of his intellectual and physical prowess, meticulously dissecting every facet of his new machinery with the relentless determination that has defined his career. Subscribe only if you want Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship and be crowned as the greatest driver in history. One of the most remarkable aspects of Hamilton's initial impressions was his immediate comfort with the SF25's balance and stability. It is common knowledge within the F1 paddock that adapting to a different team's car is not merely about learning a new layout of buttons on the steering wheel or adjusting to a new color scheme in the garage. It is a complex and often grueling process that involves understanding how a completely different aerodynamic philosophy translates to real-world handling. Every team has its own interpretation of airflow efficiency, suspension geometry, and power delivery, all of which demand a recalibration of driving instincts. The fact that Hamilton was able to slot into this new environment with such apparent ease is a testament not only to his adaptability, but also to the possibility that Ferrari has crafted a car that inherently aligns with his aggressive yet measured driving style. To put into perspective why this is such a significant development, consider the transitions of other top-tier drivers in F1 history. When Fernando Alonso moved from Renault to McLaren in 2007, it took him several races to unlock the full potential of the car, despite his exceptional talent. When Sebastian Vettel left Red Bull for Ferrari in 2015, he had to adjust to an entirely different chassis balance and power delivery system, requiring months before he felt fully in sync with his machine. Even Hamilton himself, when he made the move from McLaren to Mercedes in 2013, needed time to acclimate to a car that was fundamentally different in its weight distribution and braking characteristics. Yet here, in 2025, we are witnessing something that defies conventional expectations. The transition is happening not over weeks or months but seemingly in real time, as Hamilton quickly grasps the strengths and nuances of his new weapon. Subscribe only if you want Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship and be crowned as the greatest driver in history. What makes this even more intriguing is that Ferrari's engineers believe they have extracted a performance leap of at least 0.4 of a second per lap compared to last year's SF24. If these projections hold true when pre-season testing begins in Bahrain, Ferrari may finally be in a position to mount a serious title challenge from the very first race of the season. This is not a minor evolution in performance. 0.4 per lap in Formula One terms is an extraordinary gain, the kind that can transform a team from a consistent podium finisher into a legitimate championship contender. Given that Ferrari has spent the better part of the last decade playing catch-up to Mercedes, and more recently, Red Bull, the prospect of them entering 2025 on equal footing with the reigning champions is a storyline that could redefine the competitive landscape of the sport. Subscribe only if you want Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship and be crowned as the greatest driver in history. Beyond the raw performance numbers, there is also a psychological component at play here. Hamilton is not merely another driver arriving at Ferrari. He is a figure whose presence alone alters the atmosphere within the team. For years, Ferrari has been plagued by internal pressure, strategic miscalculations, and moments of self-sabotage that have cost them dearly in championship fights. The arrival of a driver who has spent the past decade operating in an environment where every detail is optimized for victory, where efficiency is paramount, and where execution is relentless, cannot be overstated. Hamilton's approach to racing is methodical, data-driven, and rooted in a deep understanding of how to extract performance not just from the car but from the team as a whole. His influence will extend beyond what he does on track. It will shape how Ferrari operates at every level, from race strategy to pit stops to mid-season car development. Additionally, there is the factor of inter-team dynamics. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's golden boy, has been the face of the Scuderia for several years, carrying the weight of expectation on his shoulders. He has proven himself to be blisteringly quick, fearless in wheel-to-wheel combat, and capable of putting together stunning qualifying laps. However, he has never had a teammate of Hamilton's caliber, someone with not only speed but also an encyclopedic understanding of racecraft, tire management, and long-run consistency. The presence of Hamilton alongside Leclerc will push both drivers to new heights, but it will also force Ferrari to navigate a potentially delicate balance in team leadership. Will Leclerc remain the de facto team leader, or will Hamilton's experience naturally shift the dynamic in his favor? How will Ferrari handle race strategies when both drivers are in contention for wins? These are questions that will unfold as the season progresses, and they add yet another layer of intrigue to what is already shaping up to be a historic campaign. Moreover, the broader impact of Hamilton's move extends beyond Ferrari. His departure from Mercedes has created a ripple effect throughout the paddock, shaking up the established hierarchy of the past decade. Mercedes, now led by George Russell, faces the daunting task of maintaining its competitive edge without the driver who brought them 6 world championships. Red Bull, despite its dominance, must now contend with a reinvigorated Ferrari armed with one of the most accomplished drivers in history. Even McLaren, which has been steadily ascending the ranks, must factor in this seismic shift in competition. The entire F1 landscape is in flux, and Hamilton's transition to Ferrari is at the epicenter of this transformation. As the countdown to the first race of the season begins, the anticipation surrounding Hamilton's debut in Ferrari Red continues to build. The early signs suggest that he is not only adapting but thriving in his new environment. If Ferrari's performance gains hold true and if Hamilton can extract the maximum from the SF25 from the opening round, we could be on the verge of witnessing one of the most electrifying seasons in recent memory. This is not just another chapter in Formula One history. This is the beginning of a saga that could reshape the sport as we know it. Subscribe only if you want Hamilton to win his 8th World Championship and be crowned as the greatest driver in history. Hamilton's highly anticipated debut behind the wheel of a Ferrari Formula One car marked not just the beginning of a new chapter in his already illustrious career, but also a defining moment for the Scuderia. As the British driver, a 7-time world champion, finally took his place in the cockpit of the SF25, it signified the start of what could be one of the most significant transitions in the sport's modern history. The expectations surrounding this moment were immense, not only because of Hamilton's status as one of the greatest drivers in F1 history, but also due to the deep-rooted anticipation of the Tifosi, who had long dreamed of seeing a driver of his caliber donning the legendary red of Ferrari. For Hamilton, this was more than just a career move, it was an entirely new challenge, one that required him to recalibrate his instincts, adapt to a fundamentally different car philosophy, and integrate himself into a team with a racing DNA completely distinct from the one he had been accustomed to for over a decade. Ferrari, aware of the magnitude of this moment, wasted no time in setting the wheels in motion. Immediately following the much-publicized F1 75 live event in London, where the SF25 had been unveiled to the world in a dazzling showcase of engineering and ambition, the car was promptly transported to Fiorano, the team's private testing facility nestled in the heart of Maranello. The decision to conduct an exclusive shakedown at this location was both strategic and deeply symbolic. Fiorano has witnessed some of the most historic moments in Ferrari's storied history, from Michael Schumacher's relentless testing regimes to countless hours of development that shaped the team's championship-winning machines of the past. Now, it was set to be the stage for the first chapter in Hamilton's Ferrari journey. The team followed their well-established protocol, ensuring that every element of the car was meticulously inspected before it hit the track. The goal of this initial run was not outright performance but rather a comprehensive systems check, a chance to collect crucial preliminary data, and just as importantly, an opportunity for the drivers to get their first feel of the machine that would carry their championship hopes for the upcoming season. Every shakedown is a vital step in understanding the car's behavior in real-world conditions, offering engineers an early glimpse into potential strengths and weaknesses before official pre-season testing begins under the scrutiny of the entire paddock. Charles Leclerc, the team's incumbent star and a driver intimately familiar with Ferrari's evolution over the past seasons, was the first to step into the SF25's cockpit. As he rolled out of the garage, the The sound of the Ferrari power unit reverberated across Fiorano, a signal that the first phase of this new era was officially underway. His installation lap was methodical, ensuring that all systems were operating as expected before gradually building up the pace. Over the course of approximately 30 laps, Leclerc focused on key aspects of the car's handling, paying close attention to its responsiveness through high-speed corners, stability under heavy braking, and traction out of slow-speed turns. His feedback, relayed over the team radio and later dissected in private discussions with the engineers, was largely optimistic. He noted that the SF25 felt inherently more balanced than its predecessor, a crucial improvement given that Ferrari had struggled significantly with braking instability and excessive tire wear throughout the 2024 season, two weaknesses that had undermined their race pace and limited their ability to compete consistently at the front. With his run complete, Leclerc returned to the garage, stepping out of the car and engaging in an animated discussion with the engineering team as they pored over the initial telemetry data. Then, at precisely 12:47 p.m. local time, the moment the motorsport world had been waiting for finally arrived. A hush fell over the gathered crowd as Lewis Hamilton, dressed head to toe in Ferrari red, made his way toward the SF25. The sight of the seven-time world champion stepping into a Ferrari for the first time in an official session was a surreal moment, one that instantly ignited a surge of excitement among the tifosi, many of whom had traveled to Fiorano just for the chance to witness this historic occasion. As he climbed into the cockpit and fastened his belts, the atmosphere in the paddock shifted. This was no longer just a routine test. It was the beginning of something far greater, the start of an alliance between one of the greatest drivers in history and the most legendary team in motorsport. Hamilton, known for his meticulous approach to car setup and his unparalleled ability to extract performance from any machine, approached his first laps with calculated precision. His opening run was conservative, focusing on understanding the car's fundamental characteristics. Every element mattered: the way the car responded under braking, how the throttle mapped to his inputs, the balance through medium-speed corners, the consistency of grip levels as the tires reached optimal temperature. Unlike the Mercedes philosophy he had mastered over the years, Ferrari's aerodynamic concept required a different driving approach, and his initial laps were all about gathering sensory data, absorbing every nuance of how the SF25 behaved. As he gradually increased his pace, the engineers monitoring the live telemetry feeds began to take notice. What started as a series of cautious exploratory laps quickly evolved into a deeper, more aggressive analysis. Lap by lap, Hamilton pushed the car further, beginning to exploit its capabilities with the same level of precision that had made him one of the most dominant drivers of all time. The biggest revelation came when he started to explore the car's behavior under maximum load. Unlike Ferrari's previous designs, which had often been unpredictable in braking zones and prone to excessive rear tire overheating, the SF25 displayed a remarkable level of stability. The changes made to the suspension setup and aerodynamic balance appeared to be working in harmony, providing Hamilton with a platform that he could work with, one that he could refine and optimize as he became more accustomed to its intricacies. As the session progressed, Hamilton's confidence in the car became increasingly evident. His braking points became sharper, his throttle application more aggressive, his corner exits cleaner. His consistency was astounding, a testament to his ability to adapt to new machinery with unparalleled efficiency. By the time he completed his final laps, the excitement within the team was palpable. The engineers were already gathering around the data screens, analyzing the wealth of information Hamilton had provided through his feedback and telemetry. His observations were not just general impressions but highly detailed technical insights, covering aspects such as differential behavior under deceleration, the effectiveness of the front-end grip in change of direction sequences, and even the subtle shifts in aerodynamic load distribution as fuel levels decreased. The debrief session that followed was just as intense as the on-track action. Leclerc and Hamilton sat side by side, comparing their notes, discussing their individual experiences, and pinpointing areas where improvements could be made before the next phase of testing. While Leclerc's feedback centered on the car's overall balance and its predictability over long stints, Hamilton's analysis delved into the finer details, his ability to dissect performance nuances proving to be an invaluable asset for the team. It was already becoming clear that his presence within Ferrari would bring a new level of technical expertise, one that could accelerate the team's development and potentially transform their championship prospects. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow over Fiorano, Hamilton remained deep in discussion with Ferrari's top engineers. The work was far from over. This was just the first step in what promised to be a relentless pursuit of performance. But one thing was already apparent: Ferrari had taken a significant step forward, and with Hamilton now fully engaged in their mission, the dream of returning to the summit of Formula One was no longer just a distant hope, it was a tangible reality waiting to unfold. According to insiders within the Ferrari camp, Lewis Hamilton's first encounter with the SF-25 was nothing short of a revelation. The seven-time world champion, renowned for his meticulous approach to car feedback and his deep understanding of racecraft, immediately identified several key characteristics that set the Ferrari apart from the Mercedes machines he has piloted over the last decade. The transition from the only team he has known in the turbo-hybrid era to the fabled Italian outfit is a seismic shift in his career, and the early impressions he gathered from his initial sessions with the SF-25 provided valuable insights into what he can expect moving forward. From the very first laps, Hamilton's instincts as a driver kicked in, analyzing every nuance of how the car responded to inputs, how it behaved under stress, and where it excelled compared to the machines he had mastered at Mercedes. It became evident that Ferrari has made substantial progress in multiple areas, addressing key weaknesses that have held them back in recent years while refining strengths that could make the difference in the ever-tightening battle at the front of the grid. His reaction was not just one of mild approval but of genuine intrigue, as he quickly realized that the characteristics of the SF-25 could unlock new dimensions in his driving style and possibly provide him with a competitive edge in a way he has not experienced for some time. One of the most immediate and striking aspects that Hamilton noticed was the car's exceptional stability under braking. In recent years, Mercedes cars have occasionally struggled with braking consistency, often displaying a degree of nervousness when decelerating aggressively, especially into heavy braking zones. The SF-25, however, felt remarkably planted, allowing for an impressive level of control when attacking the corners. This newfound stability is not just a minor convenience but a game-changing factor that could have a profound impact on both qualifying and race day performance. A car that remains predictable and composed under braking allows a driver to push the limits with confidence, knowing that it will respond in a precise and reliable manner. This advantage extends beyond just improving lap times. It plays a pivotal role in overtaking maneuvers and defensive driving. When a driver can brake later and with greater assurance, they can exploit overtaking opportunities more effectively, especially in wheel-to-wheel battles where split-second decisions determine the outcome. Furthermore, on the defensive side, a stable car under deceleration ensures that Hamilton can position himself optimally to fend off attacks without the risk of locking up or losing control, a critical factor in close racing scenarios where every fraction of a second counts. The ability to outbrake rivals, especially in circuits with heavy braking zones, could become a defining weapon in Hamilton's arsenal as he adapts to the Ferrari environment. Another critical element that Hamilton identified as a significant departure from what he had grown accustomed to at Mercedes was the power delivery of the Ferrari power unit. In Formula One, power is not just about brute force but about how that power is managed, deployed, and harnessed in real-world racing conditions. While Mercedes has long been known for its strong hybrid engine, one of the challenges it has faced is the somewhat abrupt nature of its energy deployment, which can lead to inconsistent traction, particularly when navigating low-speed corners and high-acceleration zones. In contrast, Hamilton quickly observed that Ferrari has refined its hybrid energy distribution to be smoother, more progressive, and highly predictable, making the car more tractable and responsive when applying the throttle. This level of predictability allows a driver to modulate power with greater precision, reducing the likelihood of wheel spin while optimizing acceleration out of corners. In race conditions, where tire management and fuel efficiency play a crucial role in overall performance, a well-balanced and finely tuned power delivery system can make the difference between maintaining competitive pace over long stints and suffering from excessive degradation due to inconsistent traction. Ferrari's engineers have evidently invested considerable effort in ensuring that the SF-25's power unit delivers its energy in a manner that enhances drivability rather than simply maximizing peak output. This trait could prove invaluable in circuits where throttle control is paramount, particularly in mixed weather conditions where sudden power surges can be detrimental to performance. Perhaps the most intriguing revelation for Hamilton was the level of rear-end grip that Ferrari has achieved with the SF-25. Historically, one of the areas where Ferrari has lagged behind its chief rivals, particularly Red Bull, has been in high-speed stability and rear downforce, making the car more difficult to trust when navigating fast corners. However, it appears that Ferrari has taken a significant step forward in this department, implementing a series of aerodynamic refinements and suspension geometry adjustments that have transformed the car's behavior at high velocity. The increased stability at the rear end means that Hamilton can commit to high-speed corners with greater confidence, pushing the limits of the car without the constant fear of sudden instability. A well-balanced rear not only improves outright speed through corners but also contributes to tire longevity, as it reduces unnecessary sliding and excessive wear, both of which have been issues for Ferrari in the past. For a driver of Hamilton's caliber, who thrives on precision and the ability to push a car to its absolute limits, this newfound stability could be a crucial factor in extracting maximum performance over the course of a race weekend. The ability to lean on the rear end without hesitation allows for a more aggressive approach in sectors that demand commitment and fluidity, something that could play to Hamilton's strengths as he adapts to the SF25's characteristics. Hamilton's early impressions suggest that Ferrari has built a car that aligns well with his driving style and, more importantly, offers a platform that can be developed further throughout the season. While outright speed is always the headline factor in Formula One, it is the underlying characteristics of a car, its predictability, balance, and efficiency, that ultimately determine success over the long haul. The combination of braking stability, refined power delivery, and improved rear-end grip positions the SF25 as a machine that could be capable of challenging for victories on a consistent basis, provided Ferrari continues to refine its package and optimize its strategic execution. Hamilton's ability to extract every ounce of performance from a car that provides him with a stable and predictable foundation could be the key to unlocking Ferrari's long-awaited return to the top of the podium. The transition from Mercedes to Ferrari was always expected to be a monumental shift, but if these early signs are anything to go by, Hamilton may have found himself in a machine that not only meets his expectations but has the potential to exceed them in ways that could reshape the competitive landscape of Formula One. The prospect of Hamilton in a Ferrari that plays to his strengths is one that should excite fans and strike fear into his rivals, as it signals the possibility of a new chapter where the legendary driver and the iconic team could form a partnership capable of rewriting history. Ferrari's resurgence in Formula One has long been a tantalizing yet elusive prospect, with flashes of brilliance often overshadowed by strategic missteps, technical inconsistencies, and the unrelenting dominance of their fiercest rivals. As the motorsport world turns its gaze towards the 2025 season, an undeniable sense of anticipation is building around the Maranello-based team, spurred by early indications that their latest challenger, the SF25, may finally possess the performance necessary to challenge Red Bull's iron grip on the championship. The whispers of a fundamental step forward have only grown louder following reports from Fiorano, where Charles Leclerc set a blistering lap time that, under normal circumstances, would have been dismissed as inconsequential given the nature of shakedown runs. However, the devil is in the details, and the nuances of this performance suggest that Ferrari's latest machine could be far more than just another step in their perpetual cycle of hope and disappointment. The raw numbers alone are enough to turn heads. Leclerc's fastest recorded time at Fiorano, a circuit steeped in Ferrari's rich history of testing and development, was reportedly within the 56.6-second range, an astonishingly close margin to the 55.999-second all-time track record set by none other than Michael Schumacher. That record, standing as a testament to Ferrari's golden era, was set under controlled conditions with a fully optimized car. By contrast, the SF25's lap was completed during a shakedown, in frigid temperatures, on non-official tires, elements that should have inherently slowed the car. The fact that Leclerc was able to produce such a time under these circumstances raises a compelling question. Just how fast is this Ferrari when unleashed in full race trim, with proper Pirelli compounds, a rubbered-in track, and optimal setup configurations? While Fiorano is far from a direct analog to the circuits that define the F1 calendar, the sheer proximity of this performance to a record set in vastly superior conditions is difficult to ignore. The speculation surrounding Ferrari's alleged gain of 0.4 of a second per lap has sent shockwaves through the paddock, with insiders suggesting that this rumored improvement could be the result of an aggressive aerodynamic overhaul combined with substantial advancements in power unit efficiency. If validated during pre-season testing in Bahrain, such a leap would represent one of the most significant single-season performance jumps in recent history. The implications of this cannot be overstated. In modern Formula One, where gains are often measured in hundredths rather than tenths of a second, a 0.4 per lap improvement has the potential to completely disrupt the established order. While Red Bull has enjoyed a near unassailable dominance in recent seasons, even a marginal shift in performance could force them into a battle they have not had to fight in years, one where their supremacy is no longer guaranteed but contested at every corner, every braking zone, and every straight. Yet, even with a faster car, Ferrari's road to redemption is fraught with complexities that extend beyond mere lap times. Perhaps the most compelling subplot of the 2025 season is not just Ferrari's quest for victory, but the seismic shift in driver dynamics that is about to unfold within the Scuderia. The arrival of Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion with a career defined by an insatiable hunger for success, represents a paradigm shift not just for Ferrari but for the entire grid. The partnership between Hamilton and Leclerc is more than a simple combination of experience and youth. It is a volatile collision of ambition, legacy, and the unwavering belief that each belongs at the top. Leclerc, who has been Ferrari's de facto leader since 2019, now faces a challenge unlike any he has encountered before. For years, his primary battles have been against external adversaries, fighting to elevate Ferrari from an underdog role into a true contender. Now, his most immediate and formidable rival will sit just meters away in the same garage. Hamilton is not merely another teammate. He is an institution unto himself, a driver who has weathered championship fights against the likes of Alonso, Rosberg, and Verstappen, emerging each time with an unbreakable resolve. His arrival at Ferrari brings with it an entirely new dimension of psychological warfare, one where experience, political influence, and sheer presence can shape the direction of a team as much as outright speed on track. Team principal Frederic Vasseur has made it clear that both drivers will begin the season on equal footing, but history has proven that such declarations are little more than a temporary truce in the relentless pursuit of supremacy within a team. The natural order of Formula One dictates that, as the season progresses, one driver inevitably emerges as the focal point of championship contention. Ferrari's challenge will be in managing the delicate equilibrium between their two star drivers, ensuring that internal friction does not become their undoing. It is a task easier said than done. If the SF25 is truly a front-running machine, the question of who Ferrari backs in critical moments will become unavoidable. Will strategy calls be dictated purely by performance, or will political factors within the team skew decisions in favor of one driver over the other? How will Hamilton react if he senses that Ferrari is leaning towards Leclerc, their long-term investment? Conversely, how will Leclerc handle the pressure of knowing that any misstep could see Hamilton seize control of the team dynamic? Beyond the internal battle, Ferrari must also demonstrate that they have addressed the persistent operational deficiencies that have plagued their campaigns in recent years. It is one thing to produce a fast car, it is another to execute flawlessly over the course of an entire season. Ferrari's Achilles heel has often been its inability to translate raw pace into consistent results due to strategic blunders, mismanaged tire degradation, and reliability concerns. Their 2025 campaign will not be won or lost purely on outright speed. It will hinge on their capacity to navigate the razor-thin margins that separate victory from defeat in modern Formula One. Every pit stop must be precise. Every strategy call must be decisive. Every development upgrade must be meticulously refined and introduced at the right moment. Red Bull's sustained dominance has been built not just on superior machinery, but on an operational efficiency that has set them apart from the rest of the grid. If Ferrari truly intends to challenge them, they cannot afford to let old habits resurface. Moreover, the looming specter of in-season development will be a decisive factor in shaping the championship narrative. Even if Ferrari arrives in Bahrain with a car capable of matching Red Bull, the battle does not end there. Red Bull, under the technical leadership of Adrian Newey, has consistently demonstrated an unparalleled ability to evolve their car throughout a season, extracting performance gains while simultaneously refining reliability. Ferrari cannot afford to stagnate. Their ability to bring effective upgrades at key junctures, whether in the form of aerodynamic refinements, weight reductions, or power unit optimizations, will determine whether they can sustain a championship challenge deep into the season. As the days count down to pre-season testing, the sense of intrigue surrounding Ferrari is at an all-time high. Are they truly on the precipice of a new era, one where they no longer play the role of the valiant underdog, but instead reclaim their place at the pinnacle of the sport? Or will this be yet another case of promise unfulfilled, where hope gives way to the harsh reality of a championship fight that remains just out of reach? The answers will not come in press releases or speculative paddock whispers. They will be written on the asphalt of circuits around the world, in the heat of battle, where only the strongest, the fastest, and the most relentless emerge victorious. Ferrari stands at a crossroads, armed with a machine that may finally be capable of greatness. Now it is up to them to prove that this time, the hype is not just another illusion but the beginning of something truly historic. If Charles Leclerc is capable of extracting every ounce of performance from the SF25 right from the very first lap of the 2025 season, Ferrari may find itself organically aligning behind him as their preferred contender. The Monegasque driver has not only spent years within the Scuderia's intricate system, but has also developed an in-depth understanding of its operational intricacies, its engineering philosophy, and the fine details that shape its car development trajectory. However, the situation could shift dramatically if Lewis Hamilton, despite being a new arrival in Maranello, manages to rapidly acclimate to his new surroundings, synchronize with the team's technical staff, and instantly display the kind of dominance that made him a 7-time world champion. Should he quickly establish himself as the superior performer, Ferrari could face a delicate but crucial decision: whether to continue investing in Leclerc as their long-term hope or pivot toward maximizing Hamilton's unparalleled experience and championship pedigree in what could be their most legitimate shot at title glory in over a decade. The fundamental variable that will define Hamilton's trajectory in 2025 lies in his ability to seamlessly integrate himself into Ferrari's complex and historically unique ecosystem, a challenge that, despite his vast experience, should not be underestimated. Transitioning from a team like Mercedes, where he spent over a decade fine-tuning every aspect of his environment to suit his driving style, means adjusting to a completely new operational culture, one that operates under a different technical philosophy and approaches car development from a distinct angle. The fundamental characteristics of Ferrari's machinery have long diverged from those of Mercedes, not only in terms of chassis dynamics and aerodynamic efficiency, but also in how the car reacts under different racing conditions, tire degradation profiles, and power unit deployment strategies. Hamilton's unparalleled adaptability has been one of the defining strengths of his career, but the question remains: will he be able to assimilate himself into the Ferrari way of working with the necessary speed to mount an immediate championship challenge, or will Leclerc's intimate knowledge of the team's inner workings provide him with an early season advantage that Hamilton will struggle to overturn? Beyond the inevitable internal battle within the team, another crucial element to consider is the broader scope of Hamilton's ambitions. While many assume that his move to Ferrari is driven primarily by the singular pursuit of an unprecedented 8th World Championship, a milestone that would elevate him above Michael Schumacher in the record books, the British driver has been vocal about his deeper motivations. He has repeatedly expressed that his decision to join Ferrari is about something greater than just adding another title to his already illustrious legacy. For Hamilton, winning a championship with Ferrari is about restoring the most legendary team in motorsport to its former glory, etching his name into the annals of the Scuderia's history in a way that transcends mere statistics. The prestige of winning a world championship in Ferrari Red carries a weight unlike any other triumph in Formula One. To conquer the sport as a Ferrari driver places an individual in the exclusive pantheon of those who have defined eras, drivers like Schumacher, Niki Lauda, Juan Manuel Fangio, Alberto Ascari. It is not just about becoming a champion, it is about becoming part of something eternal. Yet, while Hamilton may downplay the significance of the all-time championship record in his public statements, it would be naive to assume that he is not acutely aware of the magnitude of the opportunity in front of him. If Ferrari's car is capable of fighting for victories consistently, there is absolutely no doubt that he will approach the season with an intensity and hunger reminiscent of his most dominant years. His competitive fire remains unextinguished, and recent comments suggest that even if he were to secure an 8th title, retirement is far from his immediate plans. Instead, he has hinted at a long-term vision with Ferrari, one that extends beyond a single championship pursuit and into an era of potential sustained dominance. If the SF25 proves to be the machine that Ferrari has long promised but consistently failed to deliver, Hamilton may very well remain in Formula One for several more years, spearheading a revolution within the Scuderia and becoming the cornerstone of a new golden age. However, all of these aspirations rest upon a single critical factor: the true competitiveness of the SF25 when it finally takes to the track in Bahrain. While early wind tunnel data, simulator projections, and whispers from within Maranello suggest that Ferrari has made significant strides in development, the reality is that performance can only be truly measured in direct combat with Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. If Ferrari's advancements translate effectively into on-track supremacy, the team could be on the verge of one of its most promising seasons in over a decade. However, should any unforeseen weaknesses arise, whether it be in aerodynamic stability, power unit efficiency, or race day tire degradation, Ferrari risks once again finding itself on the outside looking in, unable to turn potential into silverware. Furthermore, even if the SF25 is a true contender, Ferrari will have to navigate the treacherous waters of managing two elite-level drivers with championship aspirations. Will the team allow Hamilton and Leclerc to engage in an open, unrestricted battle for supremacy until one driver naturally emerges as the stronger force, or will they make an early determination on which driver to back? Ferrari has historically struggled to maintain harmony between its drivers when both have been in contention, with past conflicts, from Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa's uneasy dynamic to the power struggle between Sebastian Vettel and Leclerc, demonstrating how internal discord can derail an otherwise promising season. If Ferrari fails to manage the situation with precision, they risk opening the door for Red Bull and Max Verstappen to capitalize on any instability. Complicating matters even further is Hamilton's natural leadership presence. During his tenure at Mercedes, The entire team structure revolved around optimizing his performance, making him the unequivocal focal point of the operation. At Ferrari, however, Leclerc has long been embedded within the organization, has strong support internally, and has been seen as the future of the team for years. If Hamilton seeks to establish himself as the undisputed leader within Ferrari, he will have to navigate the delicate political landscape of a team that has spent years investing in Leclerc's development. Will Ferrari be willing to reshape its internal structure to cater to Hamilton's preferences if he proves to be the stronger contender? Or will the team attempt to balance its resources between both drivers for as long as possible, potentially at the risk of compromising their title bid? The battle within Ferrari is only one piece of the puzzle in what is shaping up to be a truly unpredictable 2025 season. Beyond the internal Ferrari duel, the rest of the grid remains an immense challenge. Red Bull, led by the relentless force of Verstappen and bolstered by Adrian Newey's engineering brilliance, will not surrender its dominance without a monumental fight. Meanwhile, McLaren's remarkable resurgence throughout the latter stages of 2024 suggests that they may very well be legitimate title contenders in 2025. Mercedes, even in the wake of Hamilton's departure, will be eager to reclaim its former supremacy, with George Russell stepping into a leading role and a potential new teammate looking to make a statement. Ultimately, Ferrari's 2025 campaign will be defined not just by the raw performance of their machinery, but by the intricate dynamics of driver management, external rivalries, and the psychological warfare that unfolds over the course of a grueling season. Can Hamilton immediately stamp his authority within the team, or will Leclerc's established presence prove to be an insurmountable obstacle? Will Ferrari find itself forced to make difficult decisions about team orders and strategic priorities, or will both drivers remain in contention deep into the season? And most crucially, will the SF25 finally be the car that breaks Ferrari's championship drought, or will it once again fall short against the relentless efficiency of Red Bull and Verstappen's near-flawless execution? One thing is certain, the 2025 season is poised to be a battle of epic proportions. The stakes have never been higher for Ferrari. The world is watching, and history is waiting to be written.